Alright. Gonna cut the drip rail a bit extra long. We're gonna get back at this. It's a pretty short one. We'll see. Once I cut it out, I may end up, I got lots of room. But this was really good here, so pretty sure I can taper it a bit smaller. Nibbler instead of my grinder. Zipper, here we go. Okay. Oh yeah, that's good shape. Yep, we're into the good stuff. Okay, I'm gonna blast this and clean it up. I'll get this closer to fitting. It's got a compound curve. It's got to go this way and this way. Yeah, I think I'll finish the fitting with the grinder. But I think I need to do a stretch here to make it curve more. So I'll go do that. Okay, just got to prime the back of this, let it dry up, and I can weld it on. Well, we can see we have some porosity. I can use a hammer. There's an old patch put up here. That looks pretty good, but what bothers me is this stuff. Yeah. Okay. Wow, dig that. So, this is a little soft. I mean, this is a factory lead seam here. So what I'm going to do here, that seems good. See if I can just in the bottom. Most of it's really good. There's a spot here. So, first thing I'll do is go to the brake. And I'll break up a piece. It has a 90. It comes up, and I'll start to break this line here. And if it works out, I'm gonna weld right on that edge. Really easy to metal finish. And we'll see. A little bit here to do. We'll see what the inner looks like. Oh yeah, the inner looks great. I believe with the body mount, well, both these bolts are twisted off. I'm not sure what they are. I think they're body mounts. So I'm going to cut the side out where it's got porosity, and I can knock off the inner nut and put a new one on and replace the outer. Oh, jeez. There we go. Now the camera's going to fall. tiny screwdriver. Oh, that's a shame. A little manipulation there. That's legal. Alright, that's a bit of a gap, but that's easy to fill when the metal is really good shape. So that's my chair. I got a lot of heat about the squeaky on my helmet, my other helmet. And they were right. Every time I lifted it up or put it down, it was freaking annoying. So anyhow, I got my other helmet back. But now this chair is squeaking. If that keeps up, we'll hit it with the old cat's ass. So to fill a big gap like that, you know, I start my next weld right on top of the previous bead, and then I move into the gap. Same here. This looks a bit messy because it's closing my eyes. But now I'll start right here on top of the old weld so it doesn't melt everything away. And then I just move ahead of here. And you just keep touching the old weld, and you can fill an enormous gap if you had to. When I was welding that wing dam underground mine, we only had a 110 wire feed. We were welding sometimes half-inch plate together. So you had a big gap, and you did many, many, many passes. But you didn't have time to take stuff to town where there was a bigger welder until we got a big one out at the site. So as long as you gap it nice and you make sure you're penetrating both sides, keyhole effect, it's going to work for you. What's all that noise? Sand, I guess. Alright. Okay, so this is all fitting good. This I made a hair long just to save time because this works perfectly fine. I'm going to grind it back. Probably save another 10 minutes of dicking around. And time is of the essence. Because I want to work again. Just like that. Nice. And off we go. fella on the in the focus group asking about friction welding. That's not something you really do anything to do with bodywork. That's spinning one piece of metal against another and then pressing them together. We use MIG, TIG, oxyacetylene. I like oxyacetylene. I'll probably do some on this car. Just depends how it's going. I find that TIG work with the same hand movements as I do with oxyacetylene. So if you've done oxyacetylene welding, it's not that big a stretch to switch over to TIG. Not switch over, but to add TIG weld to your repertoire. I don't normally use a rotisserie unless I'm sandblasting or painting. For just small patches, it doesn't worry me. If I'm doing complete quarters and such, yeah, I like to have the car sitting the way it would if it was on its wheels. But I was working for JF doing a first gen Camaro, and we did the entire floor pan in quarters. Well, it was on the rotisserie. We did lots of bracing. Okay, yes, some of the welds could have been prettier with light sheet metal as we're grinding everything. Penetration is what matters. I mean, it isn't bad, but my concern is that I burned all the way in, and when I grind it, it'll be really smooth. Okay, that's rough ground. I am going to fire up my air and use a fine grinder and finish it off. Then I'll show you what we got. Okay, there we have it. That wasn't so bad, right? Nice and smooth. Good here, good here. This is nice, this one we did over here. You know, apparently we're going to be cutting off most of this, but I don't know where yet. He still wants to save part of it as sort of a toolbox. So what I'm doing right now is now I go and look this way. What do we see? Okay, I could do this first because I want to replace that section. You can buy these ends. I'd have to order them, weight. I'm sure those ends are close to $300 where you buy about here up. It seems silly. You can see how quick these patches go in, that I just make those pieces and put them in. Here's a bigger piece of floor. When I look at, I've got this, and I've got this, and I've got this. I think I'm just going to make a chunk of floor. Again, I'll pick, well, up here I guess, but then I'll take the crown, probably. We'll see. I'll start off with this because I don't want to take any of this out until I've rebuilt the floor support, because the body mounts bolt onto this. So I'll cut that out and see what I've got going on, because the floor definitely will be coming out around here. You look at the rest of this floor, it's looking pretty sweet. We have another end to do, much like this one. So, someone's already done it? Oh yeah, maybe I can just grind it and clean it up a little bit. But yeah, the rest of this floor, there's a couple of drilled holes and things. Oh yeah, then we'll help them out here. We got a body mount hole. I'll just weld a nut on that. And then the heat from welding the nut on should let it pop out. So a couple interesting things coming up. We shall see. allow it. We shall see how it goes. So I broke down and I went and picked up 55 Nomad floor pans, rockers, and a bunch of inners. Wait till you see. You didn't really think I'd cheat like that. Okay. So I can do a lower rocker in one piece, which I'll probably do right away. So had to go to town and pick that up. Go check on the Firebird. Firebird has one little issue: windshield washer pump and a dim tail light. But that's a ground. So it's gonna fix that up for me. And I am going to start making the panel. So I cut out a piece, put a simple brake on it. Right now, got to figure out what height this roll is at. So I'm going to mark sort of the apex of the crown. And then I think I'm going to shorten this so there's just a little bit past the line, because that's such a tight corner. Then I can sit it on a solid piece, tubing in front of my bench, and I'll just hammer that shape over by hand and clean it up with the thin English wheel, the heavy one I have. In fact, I might just do it with the heavy English wheel, come to think of it. Because I just need a tight roll. I want to weld right on that crown. There's porosity here. This has been patched. We're getting rid of all that. We're going to melt out some lead. And I have a little dipsy-do to do here, which I'll do. I wouldn't have to do that. This is not a High Points original car. This is an incredibly cool resto rod. I don't know what you would call it, but it doesn't have to be 100% accurate. But what I do want to make sure, that's a drain hole on the top side. So I want to make sure I maintain an area for the water to get out. Critically important. And here, this comes down out towards us. So I want to make sure I do that too. So that's not difficult. Just got to mark where it all happens. Yeah, so that's going to be the center of what I'm doing there. And for an easy one like that, I'll probably just do a zip and tap this, stretch this area down, and then re-weld it on the edge. And it'll look just like that. And we'll do something similar here. Yeah, so that's the plan. I'll see if I can show what I'm up to here, but I got to get a level and make a straight edge line. So this is a heavy duty English wheel, 6-inch I-beam, boxed in with 1/8 inch. Got my leather bag here, and this table swings out of the way. And then at the back here, I have a 1-inch square tubing bender. This is all, I got my wheels sitting up here. Gee, there's a poof. There's a piece I made for JF. I think that was, not sure if that was the Riviera, I think. An experimental shape I did. And it was so cool, I kept it. So, anyhow, up top are all my wheels. I keep different ones up here. And my dad has this ingenious system he built because it's so heavy, you can't move it around. So, gotta have lots of bleach around here. So these wheels just sit here. But if I want to move it, there's a pin here, and I just kick it. There. And now I can wheel this heavy unit until I want to set it down. Oh! And this stuff is amazing. Ami, my old pal from Okanagan Falls, introduced me to this. Very fine oil. When he was repairing clocks, he used that. And I find it works excellent on many, many things in repairing. So, these wheels are way narrower than your conventional English wheel. My dad and his friend Bob Hill machined these up for me. So I can do a really narrow tight curve. So I drew this black line. I just want the metal to start rolling at that line. And the piece is a little over long. So I'm going to exaggerate things a little. Anything you do on a wheel, you can undo, but you really don't want to. Now, I can help this along now by applying a little pressure to the outside, which normally I don't do on the wheel. I'm using it something like a bead roller in this particular job. You can see how it started to just kick over. And that's all I want, because this has got to just kick over. Now, because I'm using the wheel and I didn't put my rubber band around it, it's on the other wheel. If you put the rubber band around here, it only goes in one direction, the curve. Right now, it's curving this way and this way. So I might have to do some shrinks or flatten it out a bit. But this is getting the job done, and it's getting it done in a hurry. Now, that's absolutely critical. Okay, so I'm going to go over here. This is the thing, I'll have to wait till I have a new running camera, because there's a lot of stuff you do, and it's just too much of a pain in the batiste to run back and forth trying to keep setting the camera up. And if she's holding it, I can actually take the time to explain things a little better. So, this is what we're making here. You can see that line's about where I want it. Be back in a minute. So to make my little drop in the rocker panel, I've made a slice, and now I spread out the jaws, and I just stretch that part down. Yeah, I'll have to use the cross peen a little bit. I'm starting to get that shape I want. I'll have to use the shrinker stretcher to pull this back in line. That's pretty close to what I wanted. I suppose I should use a smoother hammer. So grab old Betsy here. So when this is in the car, this will be the lowest spot and all the water will drain out because I'll be cutting the backside down here. So I need a little bit more. I may even get the ball peen. It's heavier. Okay, pretty close to what I wanted. I'll take care of this. This is going to get ground out and stretched. So, and then I have one more at the end. And actually, this is supposed to come down right in here, come down this way, away towards you. So, yeah, guess I'll do some of that too. This one's easier because it's open-ended. This gets cut off. I'll leave that for now because see, this is getting cut off. I can dolly it later on the car. Not incredibly interesting, but it's going to look cool when it's on the car, especially when we see it's so simple to make it. Okay. Remember, that's got to go about there. We'll go do a couple shrinks on this. Okay, I'm cheating on this panel just a bit. I've clamped a piece in place, roughly where it goes. I clamped it down here. I could use probably a couple more vice grips, but what I'm doing now is I'm rolling it over the factory roll. As long as you hold it tight, you can call that cheating, but that's alright. It's got to be clamped snugly. Now it ends up being just a little too tall from here. I mean, I'm outside the curve, right? But when I cut off the lip that I'm vice gripped against, that'll drop it down the thickness of the metal, and this will be in the perfect spot. So there is a method to my madness. I might grab a couple more vice grips. Vice grips are just one of those tools you can never have enough. And there's so many different types, and they're awesome. Yeah, vice grips are pretty important tools. Okay, once more, hammering. There's a lot of different ways of doing this particular shape. I use wheel, brake. My bead roller is working, I'd probably do that, but it's not. I gotta order a new motor whenever I get around to it. That is going around the corner. Yeah. There'll be some fine tuning there to be sure. A lot of this gets cut out. It's not supposed to be there. Well, that's pretty cool. Now, I'm probably going to find a nice piece of steel and fine tune that just to get rid of some of the ripples you see. But I'm going to make a mark and I'm going to zip cut the steel from behind it. I'm going to find my felt marker, which is an ongoing issue. Where the heck is it? Well, we have a pencil. Oop. Well. There's my pencil sharpener. Okay. I'm at the front here. All right. Yes, zip cut. Oh, compressor. It is on. And I have goggles. You know, I'm going to grab my air chisel because that's just going to pop off. Wow. Okay, as always, that's the back of this leg. That's the bottom edge. You hold that up, you can see right through it. You get over the edge, it's a little thin. I'm gonna get my light and look up in here. I'm gonna get the blowgun first. I'm gonna blow it out so I can see what's going on. Now we can see. This is pretty good. Right here where this brace comes in, it's freaking shot. See, there's the hidden stuff. That's not a big deal. We're cutting this piece out, so it's an easy fix. Up in here, this is beautiful up in here. Really nice. This is really solid. I'm going to replace up to about here just because this is all really good. So now I debate. Do I change this first? I suppose I could. So I might just zip cut the last inch out so I can replace this section of inner. Again, we always go overkill. Here's the last porosity I see, so I'll go up to here and start over. When we hammer this straight, we take our new piece, which I'm sure is going to fit. Somewhat. And it's got to be trimmed a lot. And I got to smooth out the hammering on the edge of it. But it'd be really easy just to put this on and wow, it's brand new. We're gonna fix that. So, this is another reason you don't give prices, because you just don't know. Anyhow, this isn't a big deal. Break that off. Yeah, it's all beautiful. Okay, get up my handy dandy zip. Well, you know, I'm going to air chisel it off. And I still have that inner for a reference. I could do some measurements and write a little map, but I'm not going to do that. You know, you pay $4 for an air chisel. You think it would be just top drawer. Okay, that's coming out nicely. There we go. Okay. So I blast it out. Anything I don't like. So, I mean, it's real simple, right? We get this out of the way and we lay in a new piece, inner rocker, right? So we go from here to here, brand new. You clean all this up, blast it up, prime it. I got a little more to take off here. I just cut it shy. Whoop, can't even see there. I got a little bit more here to take off. I'll melt this lead out. But then I can hammer this straight, put in my new piece. This is brand new. Get some of the good primer in here and all that. And then we can mount our lower rocker on. Here is all good. I think there's a short chunk at the front I might work on. Yeah, this is pretty nice. Anyhow, that's the plan right now. Cut, make a piece for here. It's not very intricate. So there you have it. Simple break. I'm going to have a spot weld out here. Little roll on the top where it attaches above the mount. There. I weld that in right there. And then I run a straight edge and I cut it off later. So, it doesn't take very freaking long. So now, and this all gets cut out. But now I got to prime this. I might blast some of that while I'm at it. No, I'll wait till later. I'll just get this primed and I can weld it in. These inner rockers, you can see, would be pretty simple to make. I mean, basically a flat piece of steel, a few bead rolls, pretty easy. Even the outside. You take your time with them. They're not too bad to make. Start tacking this in. So it's pretty nice and easy. Yes, it's hard to get the head of the welder in there. I could weld from under here, I guess. But that's a little difficult too. Maybe I will. Well, that's not too easy either. That's coming nice. Okay, a little tappage. That's the basics. And you can get as fancy and as carried away as you want. Gotta go find a dolly.